I titled this episode, No One is Coming. And I don't mean that in a depressive, sort of down way, but the truth is we often feel like somebody has got to come to the rescue, and our society and entertainment and everything we do just feeds into that. We get the expectation that everything ought to be able to be solved in the length of a TV sitcom, right? I mean, the problem is posited, and then all of these things happen, and then to the rescue comes whatever, the idea or the right person or the analysis or the chemistry. And if it's not the length of a TV sitcom, then certainly it's in the length of an hour program, which, by the way, is only 42 minutes, which I'm sure you know. It's interesting because the other day we found I think it was an Australian little program that had one season, but the episodes were 30 minutes, which of course means 22. And I was just amazed. We watched a couple of episodes and it was about some kids and implants and taking over the world and some crazy stuff. And each 22-minute episode was packed with stuff, right? A posited problem, and then, of course, a solution brought to another cliffhanger problem, all that kind of thing. But the truth is, in your life and my life, nobody's coming. No matter what, if we frantically look outside of ourselves for the solution, as I did for so long, to many things, to my health when I was overweight, to my fitness when I was out of shape, to my financial situation when I needed some help there and it wasn't as healthy as it could have been, to relationship problems. I was always looking outside, looking for a book, looking for a program, looking for a wise person to tell me the answer. And, I'm reminded of the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and little Santiago sitting in the plaza in that town when he was still in Spain before he made the trip over to Africa. And he saw the old king there in the plaza, and he went and talked to him. And that king, of course, was Melchizedek. And if you know the book, or if you know the Old Testament, you know who Melchizedek is. And he had on a breastplate of gold and all kinds of jewels. But the message that he had for Santiago was that every person, you and me, we each have a personal legend. A personal legend was the description that Paulo Coelho in that book gave to the meaning, the purpose of our lives. And I've created the podcast, Your Ultimate Life, to talk about every single day, a 15-minute episode about creating your purpose, prosperity, and joy. And after decades of work and failing, I figured out what that is. We create it by serving with our divine gifts. You intuitively know in your heart that you have a gift or gifts. You may not fully know what it is, but you know it. You felt it. So had I, and I had bashed on mine and pushed against it for so long. Why? Because I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. Follow the corporate grind, get a good job, get up in the company, all that sort of old stuff. And you know what it caused me to do? I opened a recording studio because the heart in me was music, creativity. That was the heart in me, right? And that didn't fit in with the narrative. And so I opened a studio as a side gig for many years. And finally in 1995, I closed it. Actually, 1992, 95, something else happened. But 1992, I closed it after 14 years of doing it as a side hustle. That literally paved over the whole heart and soul of my life. And on top of that, not firm foundation, I built a whole executive career and all this other success that was garbage, because underneath the creativity, the yearning that I had to do those things just sat there in a cellar waiting. And finally, in 2007, everything that I had built all came crumbling down. And I'm not telling the whole story here just because there's not time, but if you want to read about it, it's in the book Tightrope of Depression, My Journey from Darkness, Despair, and Death to Light, Love, and Life. But anyway, the bottom line is you, here now, you have a gift or multiple gifts. Nobody's going to come and make you use those gifts. But if you choose, like I finally did after decades of struggle, to listen to the intuition, to lean into those gifts, and to love and serve with those, That creates the ultimate life. That creates a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. You are blessed with gifts. You know it. You have them. You felt them yanking on your heart. And probably like me, you've created boatloads of reasons not to do it. Not now. Wrong time, wrong season, and all of the rest. But the truth is, you'll be the happiest living in your zone of genius. That's just the way things work. So the question for me and you is, what can we do now, today, this day, April 6, 2022, to live into that, to discover, develop, and serve with our divine gifts? I finally learned it, but it took me till I was well into my 50s to even figure out what that was. So you don't want to be slow like I was, because I've now figured out how to have more joy and fun than I ever did in my whole life. But it took me a long time to figure that out. So the truth is, no one is coming for you. No one came for me. Now, there's a big caveat there. The exception is the divine. God has patience and invitation for all of us. So in 2007, I had a gigantic divine intervention and invitation that changed everything about my life. And you can read about that in the Tightrope book also. But the question for you is, are you living into your divine gifts? Are you doing the things your heart yearns to do? Or are you making excuses about why you can't? That is a sad and sorry place to be. No one came for me, and no one's coming for you. Your opportunity today is to think, feel, and be the best, most authentic version of yourself. I have a client who describes business this way. He says, your business should be the most authentic version of yourself. Wow, what a powerful thought. I love that. So much so that I say it to myself. What is the most true and authentic version of me? Well, you know what that is? That's me doing my goal for 2022. My goal for 2022 is to help 10 million people discover, develop, and serve with their divine gifts. Can you imagine what it would be like if, 10 million more people were serving each other with their divine gifts? Like, I can't even imagine what a difference that would make for them, for those they served, and for the world in general. So this is your invitation. Your ultimate life is in your hands. No one's coming for you. You get to build it. You're the architect, you're the designer, and you're the builder. You have the ability, you have the strength, you have the divine gifts. I invite you to lean in, love yourself enough, and those around you enough, to do those things. Love to you, and we'll see you on the next episode.